Hi, everyone. This is Shayna J with One Heart Mission. And I'm so excited to have Sage Pridemore as my guest today, this elusive woman that it just kind of got under my skin. And I just had to talk to her to see her thoughts on mastering the moment. And now that I know a little bit about her, she's going to tell us the rest. But my goodness, she is a psychic and a seer, but also she's a life coach and she's had a radio show and she's an author and vast wisdom. And that's why we're so aligned. We've done a lot of the same things and we walk the same path. And we like the following the heart path with no hesitation. So, welcome, Sage. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Me too. I'm grateful to be here. What a delight. Really, truly is a delight to be here. Grateful for
Yeah,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
you're so welcome. My favorite thing this year is I was guided last year after having the year in lockdown. And
Mhm.
I asked my guidance, what's the most powerful way for me to come out this year, aside, from doing sessions and like that, clearing. And I was guided to do interviews. They said interview people. And I'm like, yeah. And immediately I got the people who are walking around with this wisdom that are not really out there in the limelight. They're just living it and sharing it, that vibration with other people. And so I've been calling some of my work mastering the moment for a number of years. And it works for me because living in the moment is like, this is it. So I just wanted
Yes.
to see what your thoughts on, like what have been some of the challenges for you to living in the moment?
So, living in the moment is a conscious choice. I mean, it requires being super balanced and, um, in a way, slow. It requires you to really have your brain aligned with your heart and your soul's energy so that when you are maneuvering every second, you're not thinking out here, thinking out there. And wow, how hard is that at times, right? And I attribute a lot of being able to just live in the moment because, quite honestly, it's something that I've been doing for a very long time. The obstacles, I definitely do not feel that they're there like they used to be, because like anything in life, it's a pattern, it's a habit. When you get in the pattern or the habit of living in the moment, it just becomes routine. And what happens as soon as something goes on and you're pulled out, that's when you go, oh my goodness, I'm either in the past, regretting, or I'm up in the future having fear or worries. And it's like, I just say to myself, get back. And that brings me right back to where I am in the moment. The obstacles, the challenges, well, that would be everything outside of yourself, right? People, places, things that don't operate in the moment, which is fine, that can bring you off center if you allow it. And I guess the most challenging thing for me at this moment in time with staying in the moment is, I would guess, how would I say the most challenging thing now would be, if I'm presented with something that is, not in my daily walk, and I have to think about something, how I'm going to make it work. So maybe I go out of the moment to grab that information to bring it in. But to be very truthful with you, I drive everybody in my life crazy because that's all I say: stay in the moment, stay in the moment, stay in the moment. It's only the moment, the present, stay in the present. And doing the work that we do, you have to walk your talk or your BS, and nothing is authentic. So
Right.
it's a constant reminder to me. Plus, really, truly, when you stay in the moment, like, everything changes. You get to be one with the flow of nature. It sounds so crazy, but it is so obvious when you step out, because you're not aligned. And that's when the chaos can come in.
Right.
And so it bring yourself back by meditation, by a quick mantra. you know, practicing in your life to be centered, you know, you have to mind, body, spirit, right? If you're doing yoga, or you're walking, or you're exercising, or you're doing things that are meant to bring you back into alignment with just being in peace, you have an easier time than like having that happen during the real time. Like I always say, if you're centered on your mat, then you're centered in life, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Great yoga phrase there.
yeah.
Centered on
Yeah,
your
that's one
mat.
other,
I used
it's
to
one
love,
other thing I do. I
oh, I
love
used
yoga.
to
I
love
teach
that.
yoga. Yeah,
Yeah, when teacher, do
yeah.
you teach yoga?
I do. I do.
Oh
I used
my
to
God,
teach a lot.
you do so much.
Yeah, when I lived in Cincinnati, but you know, with the COVID and stuff, it's changing. But I still, my girlfriend and I do it. We try to do it. We have the lake out here, so we'll get in front of the lake and do yoga. But yeah, it's a lifesaver. You know, it's just like
Absolutely.
meditation. Those
Oh,
are the tools. Yeah, those are the tools, the exercises.
it
Hmm.
totally is. And then, like you said, it creates a new pathway in your brain where if
Hmm.
you don't do it, you don't feel like you're in your center, because your mind will
That's
just
right.
start going into a past or future thing, and then you have to recover yourself. So it's good to have tools. They're not the way, because as my teacher
Hmm.
always says, your tools and practices are not going to get you enlightened, but they're going to help you to have a better life.
Right, right, right. They're just that, they're tools, right? And then you have to apply it. And then, you know, it's like anything in life. When you find a niche that works and that feels good, I would imagine the most important thing to do is stay in that space. And being in the present, to me, you know, you have so much more calmness to deal with the stuff that goes on outside of you, because that's life. That's how we learn our lessons, so to speak. But uh, there's just maybe at this point in my life, I'm way more attracted to the calm that comes with being in the present. And I think it's all evolving, you know. And I think that in younger years, part of your lessons, at least for mine are always from the dark night of the soul. That's my upbringing, you know. It's like learn by fire. And you know, I feel like those times I wasn't living in the present were teaching tools for me to learn the authenticity of what it really means to live in it, right? If you don't live out of it, you don't know what it is to live in it. So I'm grateful for
Exactly.
both, really,
Yeah.
truly. Yeah.
Yeah. If we don't have the
Mhm.
contrast in life, we don't know how great it is to live in the moment. Because like
Mhm.
I remember when I started that as a life practice, I just said, I'm gonna live in the moment. And then I went, oh my God, I don't know how to do that.
What does that
And I
mean?
got so mad at God.
Right.
Why you give me this big thing to do that, I have no
Mhm.
idea how to do it. So in the frustration of not being able to do it, and the challenges and the contrast that life gives me, I went to, oh my God, that's what it is. It's the contrast that teaches me. It's the contrast that shows me in or out, on or off. Are you on in the pathway, or are you off the pathway? And I was like, oh, you're such a smart teacher. I always appreciate my inner teacher. Oh my goodness. It's just,
Surely.
oh, it's so sweet.
It
Because
is.
as much as
It is for
the
sure.
more I protest, the better lesson it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I just posted today on Facebook. I said it's where you're stuck is where you're ready to grow. It's not a
Right.
problem. It's
Right.
time.
Right.
It's
Right.
time now.
Right.
Let's grow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Being stuck is like such a gift because, well, if you see it that way, because why are you stuck? What are you stuck in? What does it take to get unstuck? And it's normally showing you that there's something isn't aligned in your thought process and it's time to take some action, whether that be action of a change of thought or action of a change of circumstances that you can control. But it's like the painter's canvas when you get stuck. Okay, well, maybe that's because you're supposed to be, maybe it's time to stop doing what you've been doing that no longer works, right? Because it's constant change, constant evolving. I mean, I always say to myself, Sage, you're going to never stop healing. You're going to never stop growing until you move into spirit. But I've chosen now, my mantra is no learning by suffering. That's the way it works here.
Right.
So I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself, and I put always in my prayer, ready for the next step with gentle and ease and grace.
Yes.
Nurturing would be kind of nice too.
Yes. Call it in. I believe that to be truth. You know, you call in what you desire, and there are levels you get to where you don't have to learn by fire. That was my learning pattern, and I don't learn by fire anymore. It's a choice. No need. It's good. I believe you.
Well, so that's part of trusting, right? Because even the other day, I started realizing something around trust was, wait a second, I've been trusting for a lot of years, but not all of it's always worked out. So what is trust really? You know, so I asked and just left it open. What is trust really? And so I'm going to ask you, what do you think, Sage?
Oh, that's so interesting, because I was reading something this morning. I'm always reading 2 or 3 books at a time. And I was reading one this morning, and it was part about being certain, and certain in your trust, certain in your faith. And that doesn't mean that everything works out the way that you want it to. What it means is that you have certain faith in however it unfolds, because you are certain in your faith that you are coming from your higher space in creating. That doesn't always mean that the end result is what you might believe it should be or could be. So it's like, for me, faith and trust is allowing things to unfold for my highest good while I'm creating, but letting go of the outcome. Because how I live is from passionate detachment. Like, I'm super passionate about what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. I'm detached to the outcome, which is huge, because part of the suffering is attachment, right? And it doesn't mean that I don't have certain things I would like it to work out, but I've learned over the years, as I'm sure you have and many have, that because down the road, there's a big gift in that. It would have gone another route that may not have been the way to be. And the trust and the faith that I know is in when I can't see it, or I can't see that it's going to go the way that I humanly wanted it to go. So it's complete faith and trust that everything's going to work out the way that your intentions are put, without an attachment to how it physically shows up. That's a big one. I know I said a lot, but there's no other way to put it. You know, it's a bigger faith. We just don't get to have faith and trust when we want something and it shows up, because that's not how it works, because there's a bigger faith and trust in how it unfolds for the greater good of our existence. And again, my humble words apply to myself. I'm a leader and a teacher, but not wanting followers, because I think we all have to forge out what things mean to us, right? That's what it means to me. Faith in the unknown and the non-showing up in the way that you might have wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it's huge. It's huge. That's a constant. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I love that you put trust and faith together. That's where I got to. Was trust was a subset of faith, you could say. Faith is first. Correct. Overall, faith is bigger than anything. And trust comes in right underneath that. And how you navigate life is that you trust that you have faith. in your
Correct.
choices.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is and you know something too, alongside of that, it's the certainty that you've made the choice and you are trusting and have faith that the choice you made is solid for you
Is
in that moment of choosing.
right.
Because the universe, however you want to call it, working with you to co-create, if you're all over the board and you haven't honed in on the certainty, hard for those things to manifest and show up.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it
It
more
really,
challenging.
it
Yeah.
does. It does, because it's like, you know, looking at a catalog and going, gee, I don't know what to order. Well, I want this, that, and that. And well, it's either not going to come or you're going to get 3 or 4 different things. And it's, you know, it's the same way with how you create in the moment. It's the only place you can create, the only place you ever are. Like,
That's
you know, that we're never, ever in the future or in the past,
no
ever.
matter what your mind says, you're never
Never.
there.
I mean, I won't say ever. Maybe there's something I don't know about with the time traveling. I don't know. But I mean, really, truly, we're always right here, right? We're always right here, at least from my experiences, you know?
Yeah.
And, but it's the most powerful place to create and manifest, in that space of the moment, the present, with faith and trust, passionate detachment. And bottom line, for me, it's, you know, that what I choose to be happy. It's an inside job. Choose to feel all the things that you think you want. Already be there, be that in the moment, because everything is all there is, right? Everything is already there. It's already there. It's just a matter of stepping into the consciousness.
Right. And also,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say that there's a vibration that goes along with that? You know, like so certainty, let's say there's 3 levels. There's faith, then there's trust, then there's certainty about your faith and trust. So when you're manifesting, it's not just about what's here. It's about what the vibration is, you know, because a lot of people want things that are not even in their own vibration to have. And so they get disgusted or disillusioned that they can't have what they really want. Well, then they lose faith, right? And that's the worst
Correct.
thing that can happen, is that you lose faith.
Correct.
So
Yes.
yeah, so talk to me about that, the vibration of
Oh,
I want to go deep.
oh, girl. Well, I'm getting chills because I'm sitting here like, oh, deep vibrations. It's all vibration. Forget about your words. Seriously. Even
Right.
your thoughts, like the vibration, everything is vibrating. Everything is energy. And like, you know, my biggest thing in life I love so much is quantum physics. I'm obsessed and
Too.
crazy about it. I find it so intriguing. But anyway, everything responds to a vibration. And if your vibration in your core, in that core vibration, what you think and what you say and what you do are 3 things, but the vibration is in there. How you vibrate. You can say all day, well, I'm happy, or I think I'm happy, or act like you're happy. But if your vibration is not in that vibration of that energy of whatever happiness is, that feeling, it's a vibration, you can't manifest. It won't work.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hard, because if you read for face value all the information on law of attraction, manifesting, you know, I want this, I'm, you know, blah, blah. You actually have to throw that stuff away and forget about it. You already placed your order. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Be what you want already, right?
Right.
You want happiness, the only thing you can be, you have to be. It's not doing. Be happy, a choice. Be abundant. It's a vibration, it's a feeling. And it's intense. I mean, it's hard to hard to harness that and teach that, because it's a feeling you have to get into, and a vibration. None of, you know, your words and your thoughts and your actions create. Correct. But what are they creating, and what's at the underlying vibration, and how are you living and thinking and feeling in truth, not just outwardly, right?
Right.
So that's the key. And I don't even know how to explain that, but I love it, because I'm always and staying in the vibration. It's like, and it's a test every minute of the day because you never know what's going to happen. So it's like the universe, God, what have you, is like, here you go. I'm like, are you in the vibration or did you just get out of it? Right. And it's called ownership and responsibility. And I think once you really learn that you are responsible for your own happiness, your own independence, your own everything. And if you work on that and understand it, it's an inside job. It's as within, so without, right? You don't, just because you get your happiness as a vibration attracts more to be happy for, right? It's not because you got that new car and you're happy, because the car is going to get, you're not going to be happy with it the day it runs out of gas or something, you know, for a better example, but you attract what you feel in that vibration. It's the opposite of what people think. You know, it's like, well, I just want to meet someone who's going to make me happy. I'm like, oh, good luck with that. Because that ain't going to happen, honey. You know, make yourself happy first by either, you know, how you are in your core, your spiritual practice. It's a choice. And then you're going to attract maybe someone who already makes themselves happy, and you come together and you add to the mix. Right. I mean, that's an example because, you know, I get it. Trust me, I'm not a Pollyanna. I know there's stuff going on in the world. Well, how am I supposed to be happy about this? But I get it. I have just as many challenging things happen in my life as anybody else. But how I choose to act or react to it is what causes it to be a challenge, or where's the gift in that? And those are tough words because I've always gotten challenged. I'm like, well, Sage, that's great, but what about this? What about, you know, there's always a way to work through it. Doesn't mean it's not going to feel, you know, it may not feel good, but it's your choice how you react to it as opposed to what's actually happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because if you react, you're in a totally different vibration than the vibration of what you're choosing. Yeah.
Oh, back to what you asked me, the challenge of staying in the moment is simply the challenge of staying in the moment. It's the challenge of staying in the moment. That's it. Because like every single minute you get the chance to step out of it. So your challenge is to stay in the focus of, no matter, it's been a game to me. I mean, not always a fun game, but I'm like, oh boy, here comes another chance. Where am I going to go? Am I going to go out here? and then I make the decision. I go out of balance, and I'm like, holy crap! Why did I do that? Okay, what did I learn? Okay, next time I'm going to do it different, or next time I'm going to remember to get back in the moment. Because trust me, I don't stay in the moment 24/7. I'm pretty close, but not 24/7. This girl is very, very human.
Right. But then that's why we have the reflective universe. So we can catch ourselves. And when we catch ourselves, because I don't stay in the moment 24/7 either, but I reflect pretty quickly because my body has a feeling that is right there with me when I go off my own frequency. I feel it. It doesn't feel so good.
Oh, wow.
So then I can go, oh, wait, what did I just think? What was that old thought? What, you know, and then this last couple of, about a week ago, I started doing Ho'oponopono again. Because,
oh, wow. Okay.
You know that one, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, yes. I thought so. So,
yes.
Because I got to places in self-reflecting where I was pulling in some old patterns from my old self. Right. And that's what got me off. And then I went, oh, well, there's nothing more to do about it but to recognize it. And then I thought, wait a minute, but there's energy attached to that old person and those old choices that I made. So let's do Ho'oponopono on all of that. And I'm telling you, the energy cleared so beautifully. It was really wonderful. Yeah.
I love that. That's huge. And you're so right. You're so right. As you begin to consciously choose to live in the moment and you practice it and you do it and you get stronger in it, it's amazing when you're not, how your amazing compass body will physically tell you in so many ways
Right.
that you're off your kilter. And
Remember.
I believe that to be I believe that, I mean, and when we aren't living in the present, we're much more susceptible to all of those things like dis-ease and discomfort and depression, and I have such compassion because, all of the above I've experienced, but it's amazing how brilliant our creator has programmed us. This body is so equipped to heal through our thoughts and our words and our actions, right? It's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Blows me away. Blows
Every
me
day,
away.
you said when you wake up in the morning, my thing every morning is, I wonder what's going to happen today. Like an excitement. But then
Right.
during the day, it's almost every day I go, God, this body mechanism
Mhm.
is so amazing how it does the things that it does through
Mhm.
the innate programming that we've had, the conditioning. Some of it's really weird and
Mhm.
not so good, but we can grow up. That's how our awakening is happening, through our dark side. We watch how we shadow everything, and then
Yeah.
when it lifts, or I'll say it this way, when it doesn't have that strong energy on it any longer, then you just know that dark side is there, but you don't have to keep interacting with it. You just keep bringing your own light to it, and you keep raising your vibration. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what's it like living in the moment. What is that? Did you have something that you wanted to read or something? I
No,
I just asked
no, I
you two
wouldn't be able to
questions.
find where it's at. So when you're asking me about living in the moment, what are you asking? So I'm clear.
Oh, because I just asked you two questions. I'm sorry. Uh, I was asking,
It's okay.
when you're living in the moment and it's working, what are you noticing?
Oh, yeah. Living in the moment immediately takes away, for me personally, doubt, lack, limitation, fear, worry. Living in the moment makes me more focused on what I'm doing, who I'm interacting with, whatever task I might be doing. Um, it gives me opportunity to feel more connected to nature, to my connection with creator, with my God. Um, it makes me feel healthier. It makes me feel more happy because I'm not scattered with all these, thoughts. Like, we only really use 10% of our brain. Like 90% of that crap going on is repetitive thought over and over and over. I mean, like, how many times can you repeat your to-do list? So it's like, part of staying in the moment for me is also about releasing the need to think all the time. It's like, Sage, you don't have to think all the time. You can just be. You can simply be. Your
Right.
brain doesn't have to over process. You can
Right.
find balance, right? And that's interesting. It's like, shut your brain down. That does not mean you're not intelligent. It just means you're
Oh,
not using your brain over and over to create. Because worry is a waste of your imagination. And if, in fact, you're repeating, you have to, again, back to the tools. I mean, I am the tool queen, because if anything, and if my body's doing something or I'm thinking something, I have keywords I use that I pull in, and then everything stops and I go right back to where I'm supposed to be. I don't even work that hard. I don't say I have like one word or two words, and it's quick and to the point. I don't
Yeah,
want to waste my time. I don't, you ask and you shall receive, right? Like, that's the truth. Is just, you ask for what you need in that moment, that will bring you right back to where you need to be. I mean, to me, it's almost complex simple, because I always don't try to do something, just do it.
right.
Just be it. Don't try. You cannot, though, you got to get that out, because if you try, you're still in that space. It's one or the other. Just do it or don't, right? And
Right.
so living in the moment gives you a different perspective. And I always laugh because everything else lives in the moment. I mean, I don't really believe animals are like thinking about Christmas next year. You know what I mean? They're just not. Well, maybe they are, but I'm thinking they're not. They're living in the moment, and they know that right now is
There
what.
are.
That's right. I forgot. Excluding the reindeers. Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. That's so funny. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like, with these beautiful animals aren't all messed up in their brain for the most part. We are animals too. And our brain is so powerful. But yet we have to remember to use the brain in a spiritual, everything is spiritual to me, but the brain and the body, the soul, it's all together. Like, one isn't more than the other. Your intelligence is spirituality. Your body is spirituality, everything. And so you have to find a way of balancing them and letting them work together, because really your mind and your thoughts come in, and then your words, your action. So begin in that space of be conscious of where you're creating your thoughts, words, and actions, right? That's huge. It's huge, because you can change everything on a dime with one thought, one word, and one action. So what do you want to create? Right?
Absolutely. And what's coming to me in to enhance what you're saying is that the word patterns that we live with are really, really funny. So, like, I used the day before I fell off of the cliff, you read my book, I was in a conscious language class. And
Wow.
from the day that I fell, all of my conscious awareness went to conscious language also. So I found
Wow.
that there was a word pattern that was pain in the neck. That was, well, I was a dancer, so break a leg. These phrases that we use that are just typical, everybody understands what it means. I call them cliche because everybody reuses them. But when you feel what they feel like in your body, it could get pretty scary. And so then you have to open up this little box of your language and go, wait a second, that's not true for me. I don't want to break a leg. What's another way? So my son is a dancer, and he knows that I know. I'm not going to tell him to break a leg.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, that's a wish that I have to delete out of my own language pattern. So like the people that are very used to using trendy words, we look to start a new trend or to have things that we relate to in our peer group. That's all wonderful for fun. but just remember that every word is a prayer. And no matter what you're vibrating at, you're going to vibrate what you say. There's something that's in agreement in your whole vibration that's going to bring out what you're saying. And so talk about, remember you said about being responsible earlier. We are the ones to be responsible too for our greater good. Yeah, and our collective greater good, because we walk around with these phrases stuck in us, ready to say in any typical conversation. But what if you were the one person that raised the conversation and kept the vibration intact, and started to say, well, I used to really use that phrase a lot, and then I fell off of a cliff and broke 22 bones. So I don't have to prove to you how your language is important, but you might want to just take it on.
Well, it's the truth. I mean, there's no greater truth than the words that create. I am. How many times do we say, I am this, I am that? Right. And how many times is it proclaiming an I am that is not healthy for oneself, right? Right. Though I always say your word is your wand. It is your wand. Wonderful. Spelling, creating. There's so much power, and I won't exclude the thoughts too, because you can be speaking in your brain without the words, but I am that is one of the biggest words, 2 words, that is, I am incredibly conscious in the moment of how I'm speaking to myself internally, how I'm proclaiming, because I 1000% believe with every fiber in me that my words create my reality, head to toe. Right. And I refuse to create something that is not in alignment for how I wish to live my life on planet Earth. So exactly. I catch myself. And I don't really, I'm really careful with that, because now it's a habit, and I'm so creating as I go along the life that I desire. I know that there's no haphazard coincidence to it. So I give great respect and gratitude for the ability to control my thoughts and words and actions. It's up to me, right? Yeah. It's up to me. I might not be able to control somebody else's. Yeah. And breaking those habits are hard because we're conditioned, we're passed down all these things that I have like no belief in anymore. I don't know I ever did, but I'm just like, well, who said? That doesn't apply to me. Sorry, but I don't believe in that. And I don't, because I believe that you can do anything you need to do to break anything, because I do believe, just my own beliefs, that we can shift our DNA and our cellular makeup. So I'm one of those people that truly believe that. And it has to do with our thoughts and words and actions. And it's how we choose to vibrate. As you said earlier, the vibration is key. It's more important than anything. What level of vibration are you on? Are you on the higher vibrations of joy, love, bliss, abundance, gratitude, or the lower vibrations of fear, doubt, lack? And I get it. But we must live from faith and certainty, and from trust that as we create from that space, our life is going to reflect it. And I've done so many experiments, girl, in my life. Right. I know what works. Right. Me too. I know.
Right. As you were saying that, I was thinking about people that are just starting out, and the thought that come up like, well, that didn't work. Well, why do people say that if that doesn't work, But that's because there's no trust in faith. Correct. And so what you're really doing is you're growing your own trust and faith and certainty in yourself. 100%. And in your connection. But I think the connection part of it comes later. because you gotta listen to the mind and understand that the mind is controlling your world rather than you are controlling your world. So
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's another reason to stay in the moment, because when you stay in the moment, you can be conscious of that, and
yeah,
it's simpler to maneuver.
yeah,
When you step out of it, that's when everything gets cloudy, and you know, there's a reason to slow down and smell the coffee or smell the roses, because you bring in a parameter that's more you're more conscious. You're less apt to put yourself in a position to experience something when you're more conscious in the moment, because you don't have a million things coming at you and you miss something and you step off or you move off into a direction because you are distracted. And distraction from the moment, which, I mean, we're human. It's just like, I laugh at this because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many opportunities to not stay in the moment. It's like a craziness that there's just so much that can take you out of the moment at any given moment.
yeah,
And unless you live, but but again, it's mastering that moment, right? It's understanding that we're for better words, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that humanness is to have all of these things, to go to the light, to the dark, to out of the moment. But with experience and trust, I believe most of us will find that living in the moment is a much more peaceful space to come from. For me, it is anyway.
yeah,
And then I kind of just make it fun, because I can't stop what's going on outside of me. I'm not going to live in a cave and be a monk. It's not my life's work. I'm a little reclusive, but I'm still out and involved. And it's the things that come at you is where you have to have the faith and the certainty to stay in the moment, right? To not allow
exactly.
to drum up a past trigger
Yeah,
or a fear, right? It's
yeah,
those things that can take you off center or in the moment, because you go back to a trigger from the past and now you're reacting definitely not in the moment. And so it is work. My teachers, my mentors have always said it's a work in progress, Sage. Every day, girl, get up, do your best, stay focused. And if you mess up, you mess up. Rock and roll, keep
rock
moving,
and roll.
keep trying, keep
Absolutely.
going. No, don't keep trying, just do it.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
was when I fell, that was the one thing that kept coming to me was next time I'll do better. So
Oh,
I
wow.
made a new track in my mind
Uh,
because shifting realities that quickly from being the
oh
old
my God.
self to being self-realized was
Mhm.
like what's going what there wasn't even a conscious thought what's going on. You're just present. And I when I would make mistakes or I would have thoughts that I didn't want anymore, I would go, next time I'll be better. Next time I'll be better. And so literally I was creating a new groove so that I could have space to be better because there was no space there in my mind before. It was just constant,
Wow.
beat up or doing something wrong or never going to get it right or whatever. And then all of a sudden there was
Mhm.
all this space. So I make a groove in my brain that would say, next time you will be better. It's okay. At the same time, there was so much love that came with it. Like, oh, wow, I don't have to live those thoughts aren't true. It was a big recognition to realize those thoughts weren't true, that they were just thoughts. So
It's
living in the
huge,
moment.
right? I mean,
Yeah, it's like one moment at a time. You live in the moment. You don't live in the moment for your whole life, but you elongate your
right.
life. You end up elongating your life by living in the moment as a practice because it's like it's beauty, it's joy,
Mhm.
it's having that,
Mhm.
the connection of your vibration that vibrates with the one who loves you more than you love yourself. no matter how
Correct.
much love you have inside of you, there's the one who loves you way more than that, even if you can even imagine what that is. And then all of those ways, then you become attractive to them. And they are like a magnet.
That's right.
They want to come right to you, and life affirms who you truly are, even if you don't totally believe it yet. It's okay. You're just going to get the reflection of that vibration that you're vibrating to now. It's so fun. It's like the
It
big,
is.
if
It
we
is.
could put this on a game board, we could make a game board called Mastering.
I know. I
Oh
know.
my God, it
Right?
would be so much fun.
It is. It is. It is. It is. And there's a lot of you know good that comes from it for self and others, because when you're vibrating at that space of joy and love for self and for the moment, you are not destructive towards others, and it just doesn't
Exactly.
flow that way.
Exactly.
So I always say the greatest gift or your life's work or your soul's purpose is to vibrate at the highest level that you can. It doesn't matter what you're doing, doesn't matter what your job is, what your career is. You will make the difference just simply by being at that vibration, because it changes everything that you're around. And even if it's not seen or felt consciously, because that's really the truth there, because you don't harm others when you're at that vibration of inner peace and inner love. You just don't.
Absolutely no.
You just don't. It's
No.
impossible.
And
So, it's impossible to
it's
do that.
impossible. And that kindness, gentleness keeps growing.
Mhm.
The more what I'm learning is the more I'm self reflecting what happened, what just happened. Oh, wow. Next time I'll be better. And I, carve a deeper groove. And then the energy gets back to the vibration of peace, and then it keeps growing, and it's almost like it's growing itself, like when you plant a seed. You don't keep looking at the seed
Oh,
roots to see if it's growing. You just let it grow, right? And that's true for us. Where you
that's
were
right.
you were right earlier when you said you go out in nature and you're just like the trees and the plants and the animal. Yeah, we are one with all of that. And that is what we learn from. That's where we
Correct.
get our biggest growth from, seeing how precious and amazing we truly are.
Mhm. That's right. It's like, when you were speaking, I was thinking back to the certainty and the faith and the trust. You want to have the same amount of certainty and faith and trust in your choices, in the way you're living, as you do when you look at a glass of water and you pick it up and you drink it. It's water. You don't even second guess it. It's not, unless somebody put 7 Up in there or something, but that would be a problem. But I'm just saying, for the real simplicity of it, it's like there are certain things we just do know without doubt that are what they are. If we can take that into those things that we get triggered, or our worries or our fears, and place them down and do the best that you can do, and come from the intention of doing your best and being truthful, and coming from that space of higher love, then you're in a better realm to be able to see this unfold. So it really does start with, as everything does, having that sense of self-love, and loving yourself, which is such a cliche thing, but I really don't know anything other than, if you do not genuinely love yourself, it is so hard to be on this planet. It's so hard.
Wow, that's a great phrase, because it's so, so true. And
Mm-hmm.
everything that you do in life kind of backs that up.
It does.
It's like,
It does.
this is my springboard,
Yeah.
and when there's pain here, it's because you're resonating somewhere, that there's pain in here. There's a wound in here.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that does not have to live there anymore, because that is from the past. That is, you know,
Exactly.
yeah, and that's how we stay more in the moment and become more
Mhm.
gentle when we realize those past wounds that we've had, or pain, or usually relationships are so good for that for us.
Right. It's very, there's a lot to it. And
There is
I sit here
like this big circle.
at this point in my, yeah, if you would have interviewed me, like any of us at 20 or 30 or 40 or even 50, as opposed to where I am now at 60, I might have a whole different take on all of this because it's an involvement, right?
Right.
And self love was my reason for coming to earth, to figure out self-love. That's everything. That's at my core. That's in my medicine bag. That is what makes me do what I do. And without that self-love, hard to stay in the moment because you're out of that circle. So it's a practice. It goes down to the basics. And I think people are more aware. I think life has changed. Things have brought us to more awareness. There's more of an awakening. There's more ways to seek out people to help you at least find some direction, that are more diverse now than maybe there was 20, 30 years ago. So it's a process. It's life. It's why
Absolutely.
we're here.
Absolutely. And
It's
that's why we help others, because we to be gifted with this knowledge and this commitment to ourselves and our own growth, and then to be able to explain it to others. I've worked with 15,000 people or more, and
wow.
I
Wow.
really learned so much from them, because every time I finished a session, I reflected, how is that me?
Mhm.
And how
Exactly.
how are we in oneness with each other? And so it helped me to grow and learn a lot about humanity and a lot about forgiveness for ourselves. So the client relationship is one that I revere so much, because I'm there for them, but I'm also there for me, with the gentleness, and love that I have for myself, to bring those burdens, unleash those burdens. There's just no reason to keep carrying them
Right.
forward any longer.
Absolutely. They
Yeah.
don't serve you. They don't serve your higher good. They don't, they've served their purpose. And it's again back to that wonderful choice to look at things in a new light. And that was then, this is now. And staying in the present, you can check that. Is this feeling right now, or is this feeling from the past, or is this feeling coming from something that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah.
That's where I always go. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'll check myself all the time. And if it's not in the moment, then I need to look at it and figure out why I'm holding on to it. And where's the gift in that? And I normally just laugh and go, oh, that was silly. Like, it's like, okay, well, that really doesn't fit where we're at right now, Sage. So what are you doing? And give myself a break and go, okay, next thing, and just be gentle with yourself, nurture yourself. And Rome wasn't built in a day, and we're here to learn compassion for ourselves. As my mantra is always unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness for myself and others. That is my path. That's that
Wow.
I walk and
Yeah.
work on walking on. And if I can do that every day, I'm doing okay. And like you said, if not, I'll do better next time. Right?
That's
For
right.
sure.
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah,
repeating
I
that.
love that.
I do too. I
Yeah,
love
I'm
that.
going. I'm going to use that.
Please
I'm
do.
going to use that.
Please do.
Thank you.
It's like all these things that Divine taught me, I want other people to use. It's like they're not mine. I don't own
Right.
them. They're just
Yeah. No.
my way of
Sure.
sharing. Yeah. So, oh my
I love
God, Sage, this has been so fun. Is there anything else that
it.
you'd like to say to encapsulate
Oh,
your
goodness.
energy, or for your gift for others, or anything
You
you
know,
share?
I, the words that come through are just to really, again, I'll say it, I just said it, but is to just be compassionate with yourself. Give yourself a break and allow yourself to be human in your spiritual self, and to embrace what that means, that you're getting an opportunity to really work with creation on creating a vibration that does lift the energy of this planet and this universe. And you are important. And it is important to remember that you deserve, and it's your birthright to have love for self. And it's not just there for someone who's awakened, it's there for everybody. It's a birthright. And if you don't feel that way, and reach out to somebody that might be able to give you a hand or a tool to help you find your way back to your gifts of connecting with creator and creating that life on this planet that serves you and makes you feel that feeling of bliss and joy and abundance, just simply in being here and being in this gift of the present. And thank you for having me here today. What a joy and a
I
pleasure. I
feel
haven't heard
very
you in years, so I'm like, it's been a
right.
long time.
I
Yeah.
I agree. I feel very privileged to have you here, and that you said yes, and that your wisdom and sage, Miss Sage, is coming through and really giving to so many people. So I really thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful, very much so.
Wonderful. So I will put. Would you like people to have your information to call or to connect with you?
I can give you an email for that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll put that in the description of the video.
Okay,
And this
perfect.
will go out on my podcast channel and everything. So,
I
and then
can't
if
wait.
anywhere you would like to use it, you're welcome to.
Oh, this is so cool. I thank you so much. What a pleasure having you in my home today. And what a great opportunity to just connect with someone like-minded. And let's keep in touch, girl, for
Let's keep
sure.
in touch for sure.
All
Well, thank
right.
you so much. Mwah.
Thank you, sweetheart. All right.
We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.